This is the first of our 5 SOL preps, getting ready for the Algebra 1 SOL, which will take place in May. We've got 3 targets here: expressions and operations, equations and inequalities, and functions and statistics. These represent the 3 categories that the SOL is broken down into. The goal of this video is simply to be to walk through the problems that you see here, giving you answers to each one and kind of breaking down each one to show you how we get to the answer. Start with number 1, express each radical expression in simplest form. The key here is simplest form. So we want to break this down into its prime factors. And then we're looking for groups of 2 because it's a square root. So we've got 2 5s and a 3. So we've got a pair of 5s, and then we have these 3 x's and 5 y's. So in addition to the pair of 5s, I've got a pair of x's and 2 pairs of y's that I can make. I have 1 3 left over, 1 x left over, and 1 y left over. Number 2, we've got 2 things we've got to take care of here. The first is the exponent outside the parentheses. So 2 to the second power is 4. When we have 2 exponents on the same variable, we multiply. So x to the negative third to the second. Negative 3 times 2 gives us negative 6. Now I'm going to multiply what I've got left. So 4 and 4 is 16. X to the negative 6 and x to the negative fourth. When you multiply variables, you add the exponents. So negative 4 and negative 6 gives us negative 10. When we have a negative exponent, that term moves to the bottom. So our final answer would be 16 over x to the 10th. Number 3, evaluating. We've got an x value of 64, so we've got 4 times the cubed root of 64 minus the square root of 81. Cube root of 64 is 4, the square root of 81 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 9 is not 5. It's 7. Number 4, solving for x, we need to distribute. Even though they're fractions, we still distribute just like we would if there were any other number in front of the parentheses. So on the calculator, you just have to do 3 divided by 4 times 12, which would give you 9. 3 divided by 4 times 8 would give you 6. On the other side of the equal sign, 2 divided by 3 times 6 would give you 4. And 2 divided by 3 times 12 would give you 8. Move all my variables to the left, move all my numbers to the right. So canceling out the 6, canceling out the 4x. Leaves me with 5x is equal to 2. Divide both sides by 5. And we get x is equal to 2/5, or 0.4. Final question on this page. Zeros. So you want to graph this. The easiest way to do it is using a graphing calculator and look for the x-intercepts. Where does this graph cross the x-axis? The first one's easy. The first one's at a positive 2. The other one's not at a nice even number. It's going to be, so we have to look at exactly where does it cross. You should notice that it crosses somewhere on the left side of the y-axis or at the negative x values. So it can't be any of those. So we're left with either negative 4/3 or negative 2. If you look closely, it's between negative 1 and negative 2, so the answer would be negative 4/3. Moving on to the next page, solve the following inequality. Start by distributing. 2.2 times 5. That gives us 11 minus 2.2x less than 24.2. Subtract 11 to get the x by itself. 24.2 minus 11 gives us 13.2. When we divide by a negative, we've got to flip the sign. So rather than x is less than, it becomes x is greater than. 13.2 divided by negative 2.2 gives us a negative 6. Number 7, find the slope of the line. Two ways you can do this. The first would be to graph. So if I graphed, I'm going to want to use the x and the y intercepts. So the x-intercept would be 12 divided by 3, which gives us an x value of 4. The y-intercept would be 12 divided by 2, giving us a y value of 6. So our line looks something like that. So I can look at the rise and the run. So we got rise of 6, a run of 4. It's going downhill, so it needs to be negative. And I'm going to simplify to get negative 3/2. That's one way to solve this problem. The other would be to convert it. So we subtract 3x from both sides. We're trying to convert this to slope-intercept form, or to get y by itself. And doing that, we get negative 3/2 x plus 6. So once again, we see that the slope is negative 3/2. So two ways to approach this problem. Both are correct. Both will get you the same answer. Number 8, write the equation line that passes through point 4, 2 and has an x-intercept of 3. Can't really do much with this, but I want to convert this to a point. So an x-intercept of 3 is written as 3, 0. Remember that x-intercept's on the y-axis, so the y value would be 0. So I have a point 4, 2 and 3, 0. Start by finding the slope. So y minus y over x minus x gives us negative 2 over negative 1. Simplifies to be positive 2. So then I want to use slope-intercept form. I'm going to use my first point, so x1, y1, y minus 2 equals 2 times x minus 4. So this would be an answer in point-slope form. But on the SWL, you're probably going to see slope-intercept, so we want to convert it. So the first thing we're going to do to convert is we're going to distribute, giving us y minus 2 equals to 2x minus 8. We're simply trying to get y by itself, just like the previous problem. So after we distribute, we're going to add or subtract the number next to y. In this case, it was y minus 2, so we're going to add 2, giving us 2x minus 6. So here you have the equation in slope-intercept. So once again, if it's a multiple choice question on the SOL, you're probably going to see slope-intercept, so you need to be able to do the conversion. For any sort of free response question, you can put it in point-slope form. Whoops, a little bit too far down there. Number 9, graph of f of x equals 1/2 x plus 2 is shown below. Put the points on the graph to identify these zeros. Remember, zeros, roots, and solutions are all found on the x-axis or x-intercept. So there's only one cross here, only one 0 here, so it should be right there on the x-axis. Number 10, what statement is true about the relationship? Notice we're looking for either a direct or an inverse variation. Notice that as the number of people in a group goes up, increases from 5 to 8 to 10 to 20, the cost per person goes down. So if this, as one goes up, the other goes down, that means this is an inverse relationship. So it has to either be C or D. Then we got to figure out the equation. Is it an inverse relationship because y equals 2,650 times x, or 2,650 divided by x. So we want to treat the first column as x and the second column as y. If we plug 5 in for x, we want to see which of these two equations gives us 530. So we check out the first one, 2,650 times 5 gives us 13,250. Definitely not equal to the correct y value. So that's not correct. So let's hope the last one is. So 2,650 divided by 5 gives us 530. That's our check. Here's our correct answer. So 2 steps here. First of all, recognizing whether it's direct or inverse based off what the values are doing. And then just plug your x values into your equations and see which one gives you the correct y value. Number 11, depending on when you're watching this video, we may or may not have covered this in class yet. If you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty straightforward, and we will cover it in class over the next couple weeks. Let's take a look at this. The mean score, mean refers to the average, so that's 70. So right here, there's the mean at 70. The standard deviation, this is something we'll learn about. Standard deviation in this case is 15.8. How many scores are within one standard deviation of the mean? That means we need to go 15.8 both above and below the mean. So 70 minus 15.8 gives us 54.2, and 70 plus 15.8 gives us 85.8. So how many scores are above 54 and below 85? So 40 is not above, 50 is not above, 60 is, 70 is, and 80 is, but 90 is above 85 and 100 is above 85. So that gives us 1, 2, 3 60s, 1, 2, 3, 4 70s, 1, 2, 3, 3 80s for a total of 10 scores. Number 12, this is also something we will learn about over the next couple weeks. Mean of 16.5, standard deviation of 3, z-score of 1.5. The z-score is a formula. Z is equal to the observation minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Once again, pretty straightforward. We will cover it in class, but this is a formula that you want to know and want to be familiar with. Not a formula you have to memorize, as it will be on the SOL formula sheet, but you need to know how to work with it. In this case, we're given 3 pieces of information. The z-score is 1.5, so I'm going to plug that in for z. I'm just trying to solve for x, so I don't know what that value is. I know the mean is 16.5, and the standard deviation is 3. So to solve for x here, simple 2-step equation. We'll start by multiplying both sides by 3 to get rid of that fraction. 3 times 1.5 is 4.5. And then to get x by itself, I'm simply going to add 16.5 to both sides, giving me 20.5 is equal to x. So 20.5 sits between 19.5 and 22.5. So the correct answer is D. Moving on to the final page. The range of the graph. Range refers to y values. So anything with an x, I'm going to go ahead and cross off. So y values means we're looking at the y-axis, up and down, vertically. Both arrows are pointing up, so we need to find the place where the graph turns around, which would be this vertex point right here at a y value of 1. Since the arrows are pointing up, y has to be greater than 1. So we're looking here. It can't be all real numbers because the arrows aren't pointing down, and it wouldn't be less than because the arrows are pointing up. (14), we're going to make a box and whisker plot of the following data. Use your calculator to help you out. Plug everything into list 1, and then you run your 1var stats, and that will give you the 5-number summary. Your 5-number summary should look like this. Minimum value of 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put that point on my number line. Q1 is 2.5, so halfway between 2 and 3. We'll put our next point. Median is 7, so we need a point there. Q3 is 11, so we need a point there. And then finally, our maximum is, oops, that's not 11, that should be 13. Sorry about that. And then so our final point would be at 13. Put a box around your middle 3 points, drawing a vertical line through that median, arrow to the left and to the right points. gives us a box which looks like that. Finally, number 15, write the equation for the quadratic curve of best fit. So we've got our x and our y. We want to put all our x values into list 1, all of our y values into list 2. And then we're going to run, we want quadratic, so we're going to run a quad reg, or quadratic regression. Once you do all that, make sure your x values once again are in list 1 and your y values are in list 2. So your x list should be -3, 0, 1, -1, -6, and -7. Your y list would be 2, 5, 7.3, 3.3, 5, and 7.3. Go over to Calc, and you're going to find option number 5, which says quad reg. Once you do calculate there, it'll give you an A value of 0.33, a B value of 1.99, and a C value of 4.98. Make sure you write out the equation, y equals, and you should get something that looks like this.